Genevieve Wu. Singapore's Prime Minister has described his recent cabinet reshuffle as another step in the long process of self-renewal. Mr. Lee Hsien Loong says Singaporeans and investors want to see the next team of political leaders, and so building up the core of the fourth generation leadership is a critical challenge. Mr. Lee added there's no change to the total number of office holders in this reshuffle. And he's keeping some older ministers to help out so that there's a balance of energy and fresh ideas from younger ministers to drive policy and the older ones for their experience and advice, especially during this period of economic crisis, as Ramesh reports.
Singapore's Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong met the Singapore media for an hour-long news conference at the Istana to explain his rationale for reshuffling his cabinet.
Each step is careful, measured, but cumulatively and progressively over the years, the effect is of a substantial, decisive change.
Among the changes, promoting Mr. Teo Chee Hean to the post of Deputy Prime Minister.
I also announced that he is going to be acting PM in my absence. And I think there are two reasons for this. One is to show that there's depth in our leadership team. It's not just one person running everything, but there are others who are making significant contributions and more than pulling their own weight. And it's also, secondly, a signal that a younger team is in charge, that we are looking ahead, moving forward.
As part of the reshuffle, Singapore now has a full woman minister, Mrs. Lim Hui Hua.
But the basis is not gender, but merit. She's presently fully engaged in the two ministries. I will consider her to head a ministry on her own. If she continues to perform well, which I'm sure she will, and when the opportunity arises.
The Prime Minister explained that while the 2006 general election was a major step in self-renewal, Singapore has not fully assembled the core of fourth-generation leadership. Mr. Lee says the critical task now is to identify, gather and prepare more people who can make up the core group of the fourth generation of Singapore's leaders so as to assure the country's long-term future. For this, Singapore needs people in their late 30s and 40s who could be put in responsible positions early.
Make sure that they measure up, and then within 2 election terms, they can prove their worth, establish themselves with Singaporeans, and be ready to take over.
That's why the next general election, due by February 2012, will be crucial for the well-being of Singapore.
Well, it's still some time before the next election, but we have been working hard and we have identified a fair number of people. We have not completed that process yet, so I would not like to give you any numbers. But we need to find more, and we are continuing to work at it.
So is the next Singapore Prime Minister in the cabinet already?
I cannot say. Maybe. Maybe not. But it depends on how they develop and how the dynamics work out amongst themselves, for them to decide who will be their leader, whom they will support as their leader. It's not for me to decide.
Asked about his health, Mr. Lee says doctors have given him a good report card.
My health is okay. I've lost weight because my doctor ordered me to lose weight, but I'm in good health. I have a medical checkup every year. Doctors scrutinize me, pursue all possible avenues, what may be wrong. So far, I'm okay. But life is unpredictable. So you just have to take it, take good care, and take it as it comes.